time is finally here, ladies and gentlemen. The International 2017 is about to begin, depending on when you're listening to the show here. It'll either have already just started or, it's going to be starting very, very shortly. But it is here. TI7, the group stages, just about to kick off. And oh my God, am I excited. Obviously, I expect you guys to be excited as well. If you're listening to this podcast, this is it, right? This is what we've all been waiting for. This is what we've all been, not necessarily us have been working for, but it's what we've all been waiting for. It's this collaboration of the whole year kind of coming together of the talent, the players, the designers behind the scene, the developers themselves, everything all coming together, being able to just enjoy a game all together for the next 2 weeks here, really, where there is over a $23 million prize pool on the line. One team will be taking home over $10 million of that prize pool. Once again, I did not stutter right there. $10 million for the first place team, as was announced here just within these last couple of days, I want to say, is when it officially broke, actually, the prize pool limit right there. So, I'm looking at the top prize pools of all time overall. League of Legends, outside of the TI 4, 5, and 6, obviously, being the top three, now TI7 being now the new top one. League of Legends 2016 World Championships had just over a $5 million prize pool for the whole thing. That's the biggest ever in League and outside of any game outside of Dota 2. First place is getting $10 million. It's awesome. It's fucking awesome. I can't wait. I'm so ready to get this started. Again, the next 4 days here being the group stages, and then we have a day break, and then it goes into the main event, where 16 teams going to be duking it out in a double elimination format to see who the title winner is, who's going to hold that Aegis at the end of it. Hopefully you can tell I'm hyped, because I definitely am. So, obviously, with this podcast episode here, we are going to be focusing pretty much just on previewing the group stages coming up here a little bit later on in the podcast, even. I'm going to be joined by zrock, of course. So we're going to be talking about the group stages, among some other things, including some really breaking news as we're almost recording this episode here, including the next season being announced. The next season being announced as far as schedules and dates, what to expect, how many majors and minors there's going to be, what organizers are behind each one. There's some leaked information. We'll get into that a little bit later on. And then a couple other, pieces of information that we're collecting as well. So going to be talking with zrock about all that later on. Also, we are finally going to be doing the fantasy draft later on today here in the podcast episode. I'm going to be joined by zrock once again, but then also going to be joined by Growdy. Of course, you guys should know him if you tune into .p in general. Growdy of .p. We have Tsunami, a great community caster, a great guy, definitely somebody I've co-casted with before, and I've had him on the show before even, so I'm happy to have him on. And then Grand Grant also going to be joining us. The legend himself, Grand Grant, is going to be drafting with us. So it'll be a 5-man draft. We're going to be drafting our teams. Of course, our fantasy draft for the upcoming group stages here. And we'll see how that goes. That's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. And it gives us a little bit something extra, again, to root for while we're watching the group stages there, of course. But before all of that, as always, I do like to kick off the show with the segment I like to call the good, the bad, and the ugly. All right, so starting with the good, pretty much already did it, right? The good, TI is here. $23+ million prize pool, $10 million for first place. We finally have TI here. It's all come together. The group stages begin, 4-day event into the main event. Pretty much just repeating what I just said, but it's worth it, damn it. It's worth it. We're finally made it to this point. So I don't really know what else to say outside of that. That's the good, right? That's the good. Cannot wait. So we are going to jump right into the bad here, and actually, it's going to be a bad/ugly segment. Around this time, in fact, I was honestly even wondering if I wanted to do this segment in the beginning of the podcast show this for today's episode. You know, obviously today being a little bit of a special episode. We're releasing this on a Wednesday when we normally release our episodes on Fridays, but due to the schedule here, and I'll talk about that more at the end of the podcast as well, but obviously we're releasing a show today, and then we will be releasing another show on Sunday, which will be after the group stages going into the main event. So things are kind of changing up a little bit with the TI7 here, understandably, but the point being, I was kind of contemplating whether or not I wanted to do, you know, again, the good, the bad, the ugly here at the beginning, but we did get some unfortunate news earlier on today that kind of led me to decide, you know what, let's go ahead and do it, because we do have something. Unfortunately, we have a situation where one player from a team and one talent member, actually as well, will not be attending TI7 at this point, and very likely will not be attending in general, due to ultimately what's visa issues. The player is of Team Empire, actually. Chappie, their carry player. Apparently, he had visa issues when he was trying to leave with the team. He kind of got left behind as a result of that, and to this recording, which I'm doing it now late Tuesday night here, they are working on trying to get whatever the issue is figured out. Essentially, I think it's kind of our typical situation that it seems like it runs into a lot of the time. The interview process or whatever ran into some trouble, whether or not they didn't believe him, whatever the deal is. He's having issues getting into the United States. So from my understanding, he is actually back in, I want to say he's either from Russia. I want to say he's from Russia. I'm not 100% sure, honestly. But he's back, you know, wherever there. It looks like he is from Russia. So he's back in Russia, you know, back at home there. And Empire did make a point, their Twitter guy, who's trying to be humorous through this, and that's good to see, that they are still attempting to get him to come out. And there was actually a decision made by Valve, a ruling made where they're going to be playing with a ringer in place by the name of Resolution. Of course, that's a name you should definitely recognize. Resolution, formerly of Planet Odd. I say formerly because actually just now it's also literally earlier today, Planet Odd is no longer the organization that is. Now the team, there hasn't been any announcement there, so actually I should clarify that. The organization is no longer. They're now just back to, I guess we can call them Thundercats. That's what they were called before. They were picked up by Planet Odd there. Anywho, Resolution is going to be playing in this place. He was, of course, there at TI7 because he's going to be talent for the CIS stream. This kind of works out for them, right? So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. But I believe if Chappie does eventually make it, whether that's later on in the group stages or even come the main event, he will then step in and then still be able to play. It's good to see that, and I do plan to talk with Zrock, kind of get his opinion, kind of have some discussion on it later on in the show. But frankly, it is a little surprising that this is the only one, right? Because let's be honest, every major, especially TIs in the past, we've had a lot of these issues, really from the Chinese teams, actually. So especially when we heard that all the Chinese teams and Southeast Asian neighbor were making it, we're all thinking like, okay, actually everyone's good. And then again, late last night, I want to say, there was the announcement that Chappie did not make it. So we did have one player in the end. In the big scheme of things, it's really not that bad, the fact that we only had one player not make it. But with that said, I can't imagine how it must feel. It must suck. I mean, we're talking about, again, this is a life-changing opportunity, not only to potentially win, but just to play in, just to even participate in. It's got to be a life-changing opportunity of sorts. How many matches are you going to play just living the life of being out in Seattle, you know, with your team, with these buddies that you've been grinding this game for so long with? It must suck, and you know, not to harp on it too much, but it really does. I almost I can't feel for him because obviously I've never experienced anything like that myself. But it's situations like this that come up that we once again want to point the finger of blame and be like, well, is this Valve's fault or whatever? It's not. This is no one's fault, really. This is no one's full fault. This is just simply a case of it's beyond us as far as this whole government issue goes, unfortunately. And not to sound like there's no hope by any means, but the last thing people should be doing is putting blame, is what I really want to get at. Now, this leads me into the next piece of bad/ugly news, unfortunately. Another person that it will not be attending TI7, Admiral Bulldog. Former TI winner. Of course, it was announced he was going to be part of the panel. I talked with Ake about him. You know, he was excited that he was going to be going and everything, understandably. Good buddies with him. Late last night, it was announced that Admiral Bulldog, he actually posted a tweet about he's no longer going to TI. It was a pretty vague tweet, so it got people, you know, kind of trying to figure stuff out. And eventually he posted a story this morning that as of this morning, he was back in Amsterdam waiting for a flight home to Sweden because he essentially got rejected when he got to the United States of America. Again, I don't know if Chappie actually made it all the way I don't believe he did. I believe he kind of got left behind over in whether it was Russia or wherever. Admiral Bulldog literally flew into the United States of America, was at customs, and unfortunately got turned around, sent back on a plane, and back home. Apparently, the main reason why this happened in his case was because when he was asked by the agent that was interviewing him or whatever, going through customs, why are you here? You know, what are you going to be doing here? He made a point that he's going to be working an event. Keyword working. When you use that word, then it opens up another box of, well, where's your working visa? Apparently, I guess he doesn't have a working visa. Again, I'm not familiar enough with this, how it all works, so I'm not going to sit here and even try to bullshit, frankly. There's information on the Reddit post and out there. But long story short, he doesn't have a working visa, nor did he knew that he had to have one. And I don't think really many people did. In fact, it goes back to he used the word working. If he instead said he was attending an event, there's a possibility he may have actually just been able to get in. From, again, what I've been reading, actually. So it really comes down to the fine wording because he made a point that he was working at an event and he didn't have the proper documents to then back that up, that he was then turned around and sent back. Again, we've heard this story before. Excuse me there. We've heard the story before with players or whatever else getting rejected, unfortunately, with their visa and coming through customs. And it seems like this whole interview process, it comes down to, it could just simply be the agent that you're talking to. They just don't understand esports, or they don't care to, you know, understand esports or who you are or what you're truly doing. And not that I complain, because I'm sure they see thousands of people a day, hundreds at least, if not thousands. And, you know, this guy from Sweden walks up and suggests he's going to be, quote unquote, working a multi-million-dollar computer gaming tournament. Like, you have to word it like that to kind of understand what somebody would be thinking that's never heard of esports, that's never heard of Dota 2, let alone esports in general, and what this is. So, suspicions rose up. Obviously, long story short, again, he was sent back. So, this kind of goes back to the point I made after the Chappie situation, that Reddit posts are being made, especially for Admiral Bulldog, which, frankly, I find almost not even amusing, because it sucks for both of them. But there's a lot more outcry on Reddit for Admiral Bulldog than there was for a player in Chappie getting turned down for, again, I don't think it was the same reason, to be fair, but again, Admiral Bulldog clearly has a very large fan base. But he was a talent, you know. The event will go on, just like it actually will be, despite Chappie being there. But personally, I do feel a little bit worse for Chappie as a player not being there. It sucks for both parties, though. But yeah, let's not put blame on Valve, guys. Let's not put blame on a specific party, at the very least, until we get the full facts, the full story from both sides. Perhaps that won't happen until after the event itself takes place. But ultimately, I don't think there's ever going to be a point where, oh yeah, this was clearly Valve's fault. They could have clearly done this to totally make sure that this didn't happen. Again, when we're dealing with the government here, when we're dealing with custom, like, no matter how powerful, no matter how big of a company Valve is, they're not above that. That's just simply what it comes down to. It sucks. It really does. You kind of hope that we can have a TI where we don't have to deal with this, whether it's talent, whether it's a player. Unfortunately, it came up kind of, last minute, as it tends to, and so we do. But the show will go on. Again, especially in the case of Chappie, there's a possibility that he could still get out, apparently, and he still could be competing later on in the event. And I really, really hope that that does ultimately happen. All right, guys, we got a fantasy draft coming up. Looking forward to this. Hopefully you guys are as well. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Okay, everyone. Okay, here we are. We have made it. We've been talking about this for a couple of weeks, even more than that. This idea that myself and zrock we're having, and I think we're finally going to move on it here. We have what's now going to be the DotPro Fantasy Draft of the group stages coming up for TI7. So we're going to be basically treating this like a traditional sports fantasy draft, really, of sorts. So anyone that's familiar, maybe whether it's football, baseball, or whatever, it's going to work somewhat similar to that. But essentially, we kind of created our own scoring system, a lot more simplified than what they have in game. But we're now going to go about drafting our players that are going to all be playing in the group stages, of course, and then obviously depending on how they do, it all adds up. And by the end of the groups, we'll have a winner as a result of that. So there's a little more information to go over, but before I go over all of that, I want to introduce, of course, the five of us that are going to be involved. Myself, Breaky. I am going to be joined by zrock. zrock, how's it going?
Hey, I'm doing well.
Happy to have you, of course. And then we got three other special guests here. One is Growdy, the .p crew, of course, knows him very well. Growdy, how's it going?
Hey, it's going pretty good. I'm having a good Monday evening right now. Ready for this. Excited.
Yeah, you got your Excel sheets out. You were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, it's just a pick order. It's nothing too fancy. Don't be intimidated, Breaky.
I am already. I don't know what to think now. Tsunami, we're going to be joined by Tsunami here. Tsunami, how's it going?
What's up? This will be my first ever fantasy experience altogether, so I'm looking forward to trying to not get last place.
You've never done any sports. It is, but you've never done any sports fantasy before, really?
I haven't. I don't follow many real sports, and so as a result, anytime I get invited, I'm like, maybe next time. Okay, but if there was one that I needed to be prepared for, I hope that I would think I would have a faint idea of what to do here.
Yeah, no, this should be good then. I'm glad we could break the cherry on that one. So. And then we got Grant, the great Grant here. How's it going, man?
Hey, what's up? Oh, man, some people have spreadsheets. I've got 4 other people on a different car right now feeding me information and stats that they're reading live time. I'm ready to go.
Jesus, you got Nahaz and Knoxville over there?
Is it funny if I think he might not actually be joking?
I actually have one person helping me out, so we'll see what happens.
All right. This should be fun, though. Okay, so once again, to kind of go over how this is going to work. So, like I said, it's like a traditional sports draft here of sorts where it's going to be a snake style. So we're going to actually do a random here in a second to determine who's going to draft first. Then it'll go down the line. And then, of course, the last pick, they will then get 2 picks and then back down the other way. So, again, it just goes back and forth in that snake style draft till we have the end. As far as how many players we are drafting, there's a limit for each position. So every player gets to draft, or every person here gets to draft 2 carries, 2 mid laners, 2 off laners, and 4 supports total. It could be either a 4 or 5 position. It doesn't matter. And then on top of that, we actually get to draft 2 flex positions. That means we essentially get to draft a third, even a 4th carry or a 3rd mid if you really want to, but you can only do that twice. So if you have 4 carries, for example, that's it. You can't draft another carry, and then you can't draft more on any of the other positions. So it's a way to kind of change things up a little bit too, as far as the strategy goes. You know, do I take the third carry? Anyways, whatever. You kind of get the point. That's a fun addition there. To top it all off, we actually did want to put a little bit of money on the line here. You know, get a little bit of wagering going on to make it more interesting. It's actually going to be a $20 prize pool, or 20, not $20 prize pool, $20 buy-in, and that goes towards a prize pool. I believe we decided on where it's then it's going to be a payout to the winner. Of course, second place will actually get their money back, and then top gets the $80.
That's beer money for TI.
It is.
For a night.
Beer? Who's drinking beer? That's freaking shot money for the whole event. If you play your cards right.
So only take like 2 for you, Grant, and then you're done.
Mm-hmm.
I can respect that.
All right, here we go, though. I think other than that, we are good. Any questions, guys, before we start here? Just want to make sure you guys are all on the same page.
Let's go.
All right, we're ready. I think we're antsy to get this going. Okay, so first things first again. You're going to have to trust me on this one. I got this new site I just heard about, random.org. It's amazing. I'm going to go ahead and randomly generate a number here, 1 through 5. Again, we got us labeled as a specific number, and we'll see who drafts first. All right, so this is for the first pick here. It is 2. That would be zrock. All right, zrock is going to get the first pick. Lucky you.
Congrats on your Sumail.
We'll see if he goes that way.
I don't think I'll take Sumail.
You're not wrong.
All right, we're not going to draft just yet. Second pick is going to be myself. Put me in the 2 spot there.
Congrats on your Arteezy.
I mean,
it's going to be all EG down the board, right?
It is an EG year.
All right, next in line will be... It keeps coming up me. What the hell? Okay, there we go. It's going to be Grouty. It's going to be number 3.
Congrats on your universe.
And then it's going to be Grant and number 4.
Congrats on your tomato.
Thank you.
Tomato for the win. All right.
Oh, shit.
Grant has this all planned out here for everyone. I love it. Okay.
He's just prepared.
So here we go. I think it's, without further ado, let's go ahead and get things kicked off here. You're on the clock, zrock. By the way, with that said, you guys, we want to obviously keep the tempo up here, so try not to
Roughly
take too
30
long
seconds a pick.
At the most, yeah, I think that's a good...
No, I am taking Sumail in the 1 slot, though.
Sumail in the 1 slot.
I'll find him later. I'll just
the greatest player of all time. You might as well just take him casually.
I mean, they're going to win anyway, and then they struggle in groups, so the games might go long.
Okay.
All right.
So
Don't give away your strategy, zrock.
Here.
Actually, I really do. I think I want to do that, Breaky. Just color them so we know they're taken. I don't want to cut them. Then I feel like I'm going to miss people if I'm looking for them.
Zrock's got a system.
I know.
It's
easier. It's easier.
I am going to go with no one.
Oh, I hate you.
That would have been who I chose second. So. All right.
I will take Yapzor.
Yapzor?
Yes.
This guy's nuts.
Going support.
That's right.
All right, that brings me up next. I'm gonna have to go with Arteezy here. Old Artur.
So real easy. If you can find your pick on the list, just hit the paint bucket and make it yellow.
Oh, shit, I've never used this device before. What's this called?
Google Docs.
Yeah, Google Docs. I've seen it before. All right, where is it? Oh, someone got him for me. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I'm taking care of that. Yeah.
Thanks.
I got it.
I'm going to take
All right, so...
Miracle.
No, wait, it's back... Oh, yeah, Tsunami. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It's Tsunami.
I'm going to take Miracle and Ramses.
Miracle and Ramses. Okay.
I'm moving people here real quick. Give me 1 second.
Okay, so...
This fight's in order. All right, there we go.
Carry there. All right, we should be all good now. All right. The Miracle, the legend himself. All right, back to Grant then. For your next pick. You have Arteezy so far.
Oh no, I'm gonna go out of my way here. I'm gonna have to take my boy Universe.
You really are going the EG strat, aren't you?
I mean, some of us like to win. I like money, so it's
I am going to take Maybe.
From LGD. Okay.
That is correct.
Interesting there. All right, so it's back to me then. I didn't come in here with a game plan, man. I should have come in here with a better game plan. Let's see.
Oh my God, we're short on
Ramses.
Whatever.
Still so many people left.
This should not be as complicated as I'm making it. There we go.
I'm gonna go with Raven. GNC.
Oh my goodness, you're killing me right now, Breaky.
Think alike. All right, so back to zrock now. You get 2 picks. You got some mail.
Take Jarek's.
Getting a support. That's the first support drafted, right? Yeah.
No, Yapsor.
Oh, no, you got Yapsor. That's right. Yeah, what were you thinking there? Jesus.
And then...
Is Zaya
You know
still
what? I'm taking Envy.
God, you guys are destroying my pick order right now.
Eternal Envy, huh? All right. Do I think supports you're at? So what does everyone have? No one has a multiple of anything yet.
Wait, I'm next, right?
So, no, I'm up.
Oh, okay.
It's going
Just
back
goes
to
up
me
and
now.
down and up and down.
Yeah. I don't want that.
I know. I feel this guy's abusing a shot clock violation right now, though.
And remember, you are taking 2 for each roll. So don't forget, it wasn't in the sheet yet. So
I'm going to go with GH. Oh, that's you.
I will take Matumba Man.
All right, I'm going with the tried and true classic here, Mason.
DC representing. So you got 2 1s now taken.
The only 2 I need.
All right, Tsunami with Ramses and Miracle. You get 2 picks now.
I'll take SCCC and S4.
damn, he knows who he wants.
So offlaner. That's the first offlaner, I think. Yeah.
I took Universe.
He
Universe.
took
Oh,
Universe.
that's right. God damn it.
All right, and for my next pick here, I'm going to use a flex. I'm going to go with my boy Swift Ending.
Ooh. Hellraisers.
Yeah, y'all are about to see. Like, if you guys didn't know value before, I'm going to take you to friggin' Value Town.
I think Hellraiser's doing pretty well. I'm not gonna lie.
Gonna take Sam H.
Wow.
Another offlaner. All right, what is that? 3 offlaners now? Okay. Back to me. What do I need to think of here? Carries are already running low. Shit. Yeah, not really. We'll go with Paparazzi.
Fanboy.
Best 1v1 hero. Player. Everything.
Unless he goes against Universe in the offlane one-on-one, he just gets dumpstered. But I mean, middle lane, he's great if he plays it, which he won't. But I see where you're going.
My first pick here, I'll take KP.
Nice.
I'm gonna grab it on my run back.
So you have Samael, Eternal Envy, KP, and Jerax. You could use a 5 position.
You mean another 4?
We could all use 5s.
I'll take
So
Howie.
again,
I'll
just
take
to
Howie.
clarify for the supports guys, you don't need to have a 5 and a 4. You could be all 4s if you really wanted to. It's just supports are all together.
All right.
You took Howie? Okay.
Tick tock, tick tock.
I know, it's tough. I will take in July.
I'm going to take a round 5 Ana.
Elite. I'm surprised they made it that long, honestly.
I'm going with my boy Bobica here. The guy's just the master of something.
Something and everything. There's Spirit, yo. Bounty Hunter, Ricky.
Monkey King.
All right. So Tsunami, we got Ramses, Miracle, S4, and SCCC. Get 2 more picks here.
I'll take No Tail and Zai.
No Tail had a lot of question marks for me.
Yeah, but OG has fewer question marks for me.
Very true statement.
And OG
Very true statement.
OG's going to do good during TI. I think VP's going to be the OG of TI this year and just burn. But
Really?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm going with dogfights next.
I was waiting for you to take a VP player right after you said that. Which is
Well,
been a you thing to
speaking
do
of
right
that.
there. They're going to bomb out, and I'll take 2 of them.
All right, Growdy. You have Ana, maybe, Sam H, Yapsor, and Matoma Man.
I'm going to take B-God. Let's get Burning on there. It's an anti-mage.
Who?
It's been getting played a lot. Burning.
God.
I don't remember that name. Does he still play Dota?
Burning. Yeah, he's on IG.
Old fogey over there.
People are picking anti-mage, man. I believe.
Okay, so I have a GH in July, no one, Raven, and Paparazzi. Let's see. No one's taken LGD players yet. Wow.
I took maybe.
That's not... Oh, no, I'm sorry.
LFY.
Man. Yeah.
Afu had a few big plays.
Yeah? Is that a bait? I will go with OP from IG.
Well, take mind control and
So you have 1 of each now, and you have 2 off lanes total, so spreading the love
take
here.
QO.
QO the mid.
Q over Tomato. You're
I know, right?
dastardly man.
Tomato might be like
Okay.
the last pick flex if it still sits there. You
it
haven't
won't.
given him
It
any
won't, my
attention
friend.
yet.
Nah, don't worry.
Yeah, you're just sleeping on your mids here, Grant. 2 slots open yet? You knew no one would take Tomato.
I mean, Sumail's so far above everyone else. Everyone else is just a wash. It's like, whatever.
I'm going to give Empire some love. I'll go FN. It's one of my flexes.
Well, thanks for your $20 donation, Breaky.
Oh my god.
FN's good.
I'm going to take Tim's.
I'm not gonna lie, Berkey. I was literally waiting for you just to pick all the way down the TNC lineup.
I thought about it. I did. So
All right.
Tim's. Okay.
I'm going with Crit.
Jesus.
I should have picked him sooner, but I mean, I just figured, like...
I just have a hard time with that because EG they flex Crit and Zai so much between each other's roles.
I heard in the last 2, like, actual things, though, that Crit scored higher than Zai in both last fantasies. So, I don't know if that's still true, but guess we'll see.
All right. All right, Tsunami, back to you.
I'll take 33 as a flex. Oh, wait, no, I'll take 33 as my number 2.
I'm
and then
sorry,
I'll
who
take,
said that in the background there?
No one.
and I'll take Cuckoo as my flex.
Cuckoo.
I will take Tomato,
There it is.
just in case. Y'all make me nervous.
I will take, I believe, Abed as a flex.
Meepo or bust.
That's right.
All right, so I still need a second off lane and supports. And 1 flex. Well, I see my boy KZU still there. I gotta pick him. It just has to happen. He'll do all right.
I got Febby and Fada. I can't believe Fada made it this deep. It's been like the only reason C9's gone anywhere.
Oh, excuse me.
You heard me.
I mean, you're
Arif's putting in work. But
I think in Manila Masters, he was definitely the only reason. But I think he's kind of like watching him play lately. I mean, he's still good. Good, not great.
On his 2 to 3 heroes, he can take a game over.
True. If they make it through the pool.
Yep.
I'll go with Kaka from Newbie. Support. All right, so back to Grotty here.
Has anybody taken mid one?
Yeah, second picked.
Yeah.
Oh, no one, not mid one, but it is yellow.
Wait.
Someone has him.
I don't think it is. I don't think he got picked yet.
Yeah, wait, who got
No, he
mid
didn't.
one?
Somebody miscolored.
Oh,
No,
god
no.
damn it.
Oh yeah, you tried to do Kazu and you missed him.
All right, I'll
take
take
mid
mid
one.
one.
Oh wait, shit. No, it's me. It's me.
No, it's Grotty's
Yeah, I
up
know.
first.
All right.
Fuck!
Well, it's yellow
Taking
now.
him. I picked Kaka
Good
instead
on
of
you for
him.
checking, though. That's the reward for paying attention.
God damn it. That's
I will take Milan from Hellraisers. I'm pretty sure Visage is going to be huge, and I'm pretty sure he's the best Visage here.
Ooh.
I like it. Oh, a Lil Visage, excuse me?
You're excused.
You're that confident it's going to be support Visage?
It's good. I mean, it's. I think he plays it better. Wait, who's their mid player? Because I know he's been playing. They both have Kaiser and him have been playing it like a shitload in pubs. It's actually crazy.
Yeah. I think it's going to be one of those fence heroes. It's going to show up in groups, and if it wins, it's going to take over the main event.
I think him and Doom are both like that.
I'll take Monet as flex number 2. And I'll take Kuroki.
He's the
I'm gonna
only
take-
non-9K on their team.
I'm going to take my last flex here. I'm going to take Benjaz.
Wow.
Infamous, huh? All right.
I would have.
Unprecedented.
I will take.
Grant's sleeping. He's going to grab Tekka on the way back, too. He's got a 3 slot open. I mean, you
gonna
have to. Tekka's going to put points up.
Mojo Storm Stout.
It's a good one.
SS.
That guy's pretty good.
All right, I still need 2 supports and a flex. What carries are left? Ame,
Benjaz is gone, too.
Chappie, Nando.
Grant didn't color his pick.
Yeah, my bad. I'm struggling with the coloring. I think.
Oh. I'm taking Ajit as my flex.
You just want to steal the other ones from me, don't you? I see what you're doing here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, MP's still sitting there. Is Chappie gonna do anything in this?
Still a few execration players on the table.
Just a few. Just
Literally
a few.
the only team that hasn't been touched.
no.
Yeah, poor guys.
Everyone's flexes are done. Everyone's ones are done. So I don't need to worry about that. So I need another support. We'll take. We'll take Kaka. And then.
Oh, you still have a 1, yeah.
Yeah, but everyone else has all their ones and flexes full, so I don't have to pick it here. Oh boy. What is my last flex slot? We'll take.
Raging Potato.
I'll take Super.
Which one?
Are they both still listed as Super?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I'll take LFY Super.
Lowercase super.
No, uppercase.
No,
Super.
that's the uppercase.
That's
Actually,
uppercase.
IGV is lowercase. Sorry.
sir. All right. I need 2 supports still. Yay. I want monitor breaker. I'll go with fly.
Monitor breaker. What a nickname.
I'm gonna go with. I'll go with Lil.
I'll take Afu.
Good man, Breaky. Way to give my boy some love. Everyone was hating on him way too much.
No, he don't deserve it.
Ouch.
I'm going to take Pasha, VP. They may burn out, but my man's going to burn up. If you know.
He's gonna burn
I
bright.
actually don't know what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I should have said. I'd have sounded way better if I said that.
I got you, Grant. See, you're going to get bigger and bigger over at BTS, and then you're just going to have me in the back talking in an earpiece for you.
That's what I already got one of those people. They're not doing a very good job right now.
All right,
No.
it's on Tsunami. 2
I'll
supports.
take Q as my last 5 and Bulba as my last 4.
All right.
Oops.
Interesting choices of mid laners here. Gonna take Cicada.
I was just trying to pinch you out there. Only reason I took Super.
I don't even think I'll take Super.
Really?
I'm like a big fan of like Monet, but not a Super.
I will take, for my last pick, I'll take Theban.
Oof.
PPD
Those are little
2.0.
peeps.
All
He's gonna
right,
be
my
stuck
last
playing
player.
Dazzle all tourney.
Well, maybe he'll just grave himself a lot. Die less.
I'm going fly. I can't leave fly there. I mean, that's
No,
just
you
rude.
just can't. You and your Han bias.
No.
It's almost as big as my NA bias.
I know, right?
He's the captain of the team that's going to win the whole thing. Like, he can't sit there.
Whoa. I'm sorry, he's not the captain of EG.
Yeah. He's not the captain of Infamous.
I'm sorry, he's not the captain of Execration. Which has still not been picked at all. Can't you take a cheeky Nando, Zrock? Just
come
to
on.
make it
Give
look good.
Execration some love, Z-Rock.
Oh no, this is definitely MP. Like,
Still needs to carry.
Oh, you like him better than U9? I think U9's actually fallen really far off. But so yeah, I probably would too.
it's more. I think if they win games, it's going to be on the back of KP on newbie.
All right.
We have a draft,
That's it.
boys.
We do.
That was quick.
Yeah, actually not too bad there. All right, so we're going to go through, going to list it off again, being audio here. Obviously, we'll have a visual for you guys to check out as well. Execration just got redded out in our Excel sheet.
Literally, we picked 60 out of 90 players. No one from Execration get drafted.
They're going all the way, man. They're going to be the team that just has a big splash this event. Guarantee it.
I don't know if you were watching public games last night, but Raging Potato doesn't seem to be highly valued by other professional players. So.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
boy.
they're yeah. That'll be they're in Group B, right? Yeah, they're in Group B over there. That's gonna be tough. All right, well, maybe they'll prove us wrong. So yeah, going through. So we got Z-Rock here with Eternal Envy and MP. As your carries, you got Samil and QO, KP and Mind Control as your offlaners, Jarex and Febi, Aoi and Kaka as your supports, and Fata and Super. How you feeling about your team, Z-Rock?
I think I have the best 4 supports out of anyone in this draft by far. Other than that, did all right. I got Sumail, so that's cool. But I mean, getting Jarex and Aoi is just nuts. So I'm feeling good. Feeling good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Breaky actually took both of my first 2 picks on my list.
Could tell by the reaction, yeah.
I was like so tilted. I thought Raven would kind of slide a little longer than he did.
Hell no.
But that guy-
You didn't listen to the podcast, did you?
No, I have been, but I didn't think he'd take it this
He
soon.
literally sat there just like staring at TNC's lineup, and you just heard heavy breathing in the background.
It's like, these guys are good, man. I'm sorry, who got Cuckoo, actually?
I expected you to take, like, No Tail.
I did.
With the Han bias, you know?
No Tails.
No Tail is not going to put up that many points.
Yeah.
They play way too much around Ana on that team.
Well, Arc Warden will get them some points. He plays it, so. Anyways, my lineup's Raven, Paparazzi. I got no one in OP. In July and Keizu as my offlaners. GH, Kaka, Lil, and Fly as my supports. And FN and Ajit as my flex position. I was surprised to get Ajit as a flex, to be honest. He's the guy that puts up numbers here, so I think he's going to be a superstar. Feeling good about that one. Growdy, even with Matumba Man and Burning, Maybe and Ana, Sam H and MSS, Yapsor and Tim's, Afu and 1437, Abed and Mid 1 as your flex. Those are pretty good flexes, actually. What do you think of your lineup, Growdy?
I'm pretty happy with it, aside from not being able to get no one or Raven.
Yeah, if I wasn't first
Pretty
pick,
exciting.
or if Sumail wasn't around, no one was going to be my pick for sure.
I think I might have taken no one. No, I wouldn't have.
No, like we all say
No.
that and we wouldn't actually do it.
No, he's a free number 1 there. All right, and then Grant had Arteezy, Mason, Tomato, Sakata, Universe, Pasha, Baboka, Milan, Dogfights, and Crit, and then Swift ending in benches.
All right. Yeah, I hear a little bit of a laugh there from Breaky, but here's the thing. Because one of the stats is tower damage, I took the 4 most active 1 positions that actually fight towers and do all that and push with their team. I'm just going to abuse that, you know. And then my other 2, I got Dogfights as well as Bobica, 2 of the highest roaming players, and also the ones who always smoke up and place wards for their team along with Crit, such as easy points straight up front. And I picked 9 Pasha because I don't know. Maybe he owns, whatever.
You needed an offlaner, yeah.
And then, I mean, Universe, I just picked him because it's friggin' Universe, right? Like, I didn't really... I probably did. Maybe I didn't have to pick him that soon, but I mean, it's Universe. You have to.
Yeah.
And then Sakata, I picked him because he was either Sakata or I just picked him. I'm not gonna be mean.
Yeah.
I actually thought about picking Kaiser. I think if Visage is big and they do play, I think Hellraiser is gonna be a lot better than people think. I actually don't know why I picked Sakata over Kaiser, but we'll see.
I agree there. I think Hellraiser is going to be big.
I think all my eggs are in a few baskets of problem, right? I have a bunch of EG, Infamous, and that's why I didn't pick Kaiser. I didn't want all Hellraiser too, because then if those teams lose, I just lose immediately.
Yeah. Got to spread the love. All right. Well, yeah, you're banking on Infamous quite a bit though too. So
Easy.
I can respect the strategy though. I can respect that. That's well done. Tsunami, you ended up with Ramses, No Tail, Miracle, and SCCC, S4 and 3-3. Zai and Bulba, Kuroki and Q, and Cuckoo and Monet as your flexes. So Tsunami, you liking your first ever fantasy draft here?
Yeah, I was not anticipating being able to get Miracle, seeing as how I was 5th pick, the most coveted gold card of times past. So I clearly
Times
something has
past
changed.
is the operative word there, though.
You know, I think that things are like cyclical. You know, history will repeat itself.
Oh, he's going to
and
rejoin OG?
He's a reincarnationist right there.
We'll see.
Are we skipping Growdy's? Because pretty sure
No, we already
didn't
talked
mention-
about mine.
Oh, did we? Okay.
Oh, I got him in there.
I was
You
busy
just
typing.
ignore me like
You're
always.
just-
Yeah, well,
Jesus,
I've learned to
dude,
tune you out over the years,
Yeah, that's
Growdy.
fair.
So
My
it'd
next
be
pick, I'm going to take
guys.
Tekka. No.
If you guys rate the other people's drafts here, don't rate your own. Like, seed who you think people did. This would be entertaining.
Oh,
Like,
what,
who you
an
think's
Excel
gonna,
sheet?
yeah, what you think it's gonna end up in.
All right, I'm going to need 30 seconds of silence.
Because we're all the best, obviously. We're all our own one seed.
It's not
don't know.
fair. Like, Zrock got Sumail, so I think I put him fucking first. Like,
Just instantly tops
good
it.
job. Way to win at random.org, asshole.
Oops.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know this.
Breaky just instantly slots Granton in bottom
No,
seed.
it's fine. I already see 2 breakies on the bottom for everyone else.
This will be a good time.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you all talk about how EG's going to win, and yet a guy with 3 EG players is getting a lot of disrespect here. So either you guys are lying.
But it's about the groups, though.
Oh, I feel you, brother.
Yeah, EG struggles in groups, but
Oh, not this time. Trust me.
No.
I'm not saying I have insider trader info, but y'all are done for.
All right.
well,
I
there
see
we
how it
go.
is.
So we got 3 votes for Breaky being at the bottom, 2 for Grant.
I like how you start there. What? I mean, that's fine. No, that's fine. You know what? Fucking Fly is gonna give me amazing points here, and you. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of agree with you guys, actually. Not gonna lie. After the fact, I'm really like I don't. At least I didn't get too caught up in the TNC bias. So
I just don't think your cores are that good, and I think cores are the biggest part, right? Maybe I'm reading it wrong. That's how I
Raven
see
didn't
it.
know
That's my
one,
view.
or-
If you didn't have Raven, then I would like you're like negative place almost. But Raven's a saving grace for you.
I actually don't think Raven or no one are that good. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I have an extreme NA bias. I'm not gonna lie about that, but I guess we'll see. I think OP's super sick. I think he's
All
actually the
right,
best
so
one.
for the people out there listening, the way the seeds compiled then, with the overall votes, I am the 1 seed, Zrock, Tsunami the 2 seed, Growdy 3, Grand Grant 4, Breaky 5. Let's see how these predictions will stack. I don't know, man. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm a little bit nervous with my 2 carries being a little lackluster, though. I mean, Envy could just bomb this tourney. It's happened
No,
before.
I was going to pick Envy pretty high too because they have like very long games. So he's
Yeah,
just going to
that's-
kill a lot of creeps
he's
every
been
game.
spamming Arc Warden too.
That's where I'm super happy that I snuck Fada in there, too, because if their group stage goes well, I cover
Yeah.
both of the people that go off on that team.
yeah.
I don't know.
I can't believe mid 1 fell that far. Fuck.
Well, wasn't it because it was someone?
It was
I feel like
miscolored.
maybe we should go back and watch the replay and see who colored it in.
Yeah.
Almost who.
That
Oh,
was gonna
I don't know.
BS. Totally would have picked him.
I
It wasn't
believe
me.
the Kezu was the
It
one
was
that
it
got
was
it
either
colored
Kezu
in.
or when no one got drafted. Somebody miscolored mid 1. One of those 2 things happened.
I had to take FN instead. At least I gave Empire some love.
Yep. 1 Empire
anyone
pick,
else.
1 LGD pick, no execration.
Yeah, one LGD is a little more surprising. That's kind of crazy.
That is actually
Because
very
that's a
surprising.
team that a lot of people have possibly winning out of China, right?
The problem, though, is who do you think is like the superstar on that team? I think when that
Probably
team
Amy.
wins, they all just kind of perform.
Yeah, I think Amy's actually really good, but I took so many ones early for my Western bias. I think he's actually super good.
Yeah.
I believe in Chinese Harry Potter.
Is that 11?
No, that's maybe.
Oh.
Wait, who was
Oh,
on
you got
first?
maybe.
Maybe
What?
is the Chinese Harry Potter. Just look at his glasses, man.
Missed
I get what
the
you're doing,
reference.
Grant. I
I did
got
too.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, man.
Jeez, I don't want to like go over right now. No, never mind. Go. We're good.
And to be honest, all of us are going to be at TI, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
We're
When
going
are
to
you-
talk some shit about the results of this live at some meetup.
So wait, is this is for group stages and the main event, right?
No, just
For-
group stages.
Just
No,
group
no,
stages.
no.
Okay.
Because main
Yeah,
event
that's what
would be
I thought, yeah.
way too chaotic.
So Bulldog just got denied access to the United States and got
Well,
sent
I was
back
gonna.
to
That's
Sweden.
what I was about to bring up, but it's Bulldog, and there's a good chance he's trolling. That's why I didn't want to say it.
Yeah.
That is.
I actually think he might be trolling.
Wait, did
Because
he
Peter.
just tweet out about that or something?
Yeah, I don't. It's a troll, I think. Because I saw who it was, and then Peter is the only one who said something after it, and those two are known trolls. So yeah, I almost brought that up too. That's what I was about to say.
Well, because everyone else is good, right? Like all the teams are good.
Yeah, all the team. What is Chappie finally here?
Oh, that was the one. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know if he's actually here yet. But
That would suck a Bulldog. There's no way. I thought. Wait, didn't. I don't know. Guess
He's
we'll
got,
see
a
if it's a troll or
standing,
not.
he's got a standing visa, doesn't he?
I'm pretty sure he does. I think it's a troll.
Yeah, I think
Just
so.
because it's him.
Sweden? There's no way from Sweden.
There's never been any issue getting Swedes in.
Yeah.
Unless he was like, I'm going to bomb Americans. Which
I mean,
All right, I was
He is
never
a
part of
troll.
this. I was never part of this podcast. See you guys later.
To be fair, when we tried to get Jube in, he was about that tactful trying to get into the U.S. And that was
makes
from
sense.
Canada.
is he just trying to see like how
He just-
terrible you
no,
can
he's
be as a
just-
Canadian?
He's just kind of awkward. Like they pulled him aside and asked him some questions, and I don't know. It's just crazy that some of these Chinese players got denied the first time with like full lawyer teams and like houses in their name just to make sure they'd get in. It's insane.
I'm just happy all the Russian players were already here before those sanctioning
Yeah.
stuff happened. Because I don't think they would be here if TI was in another week.
Potentially not. But
Well, they're not, right? Like Chappie's still not here, unless we got
Every
confirmation
team
that he is.
Every team is in Seattle right now.
So we do know that they're
they
okay.
tweeted out, yeah.
That's good.
I believe
Well, no, but he tweeted it out, but there's an asterisk on Chappie. Unless this was within like
Who
the last
knows?
8 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? Well, again,
right.
hopefully they all show up here. Need
On
my
that
boys
note-
Empire to do well.
the ball and chain is beckoning for me, saying it's time to go. So
Yeah, I think
I will be heading out.
Wait,
well, let's
girls actually talk to you? No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Ouch!
Got him.
You were
gonna wrap this up
Grant? Come on
officially.
now.
As zrock was mentioning, we are all going to be at TI. So obviously, we can have some fun with it, pending you guys being busy here and whatnot. But now comes the fun part where I get to manually enter all of the scores for all of the players here over the group stages. So that's going to be fun. But
Wait, do we have to like set rosters, or is it like?
Nope.
no.
Everyone you drafted's playing.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
So it's just straight off draft, and now we watch the cards fall.
Including the flexes,
Including the
including the flexes,
Oh, okay,
that was
well,
just for your draft purpose. Yeah,
Well, that was easy.
that was easy. Exactly.
I mean, because
You're good to
otherwise
go.
we'd be having to make sure everyone was available every night of groups to line
Yeah.
this up and change things around. This just seemed easier.
All
Anyway,
right. So yeah, wrap it up here, guys. I want to thank you all again for joining me in the draft. Tsunami, Grant, Growdy, as well as zrock, of course. And I look forward to seeing you all at TI, where we can talk shit to one another after we know the results of myself coming from behind and winning the whole thing. So that is going to be fun.
I expect a crown to be made for me for my arrival.
For picking Sumail. Good job.
Yeah, great.
I'm going to go to Burger King and get you a crown.
Please do.
I
It's
fucking
actually
will.
how I got my girlfriend. Yep.
Jesus Christ. And
crown.
on that note,
the ball
Dead
pit
serious.
Burger
ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned to the podcast. More coming at you. All right, so once again, going to be joined by zrock here because, we had some fun earlier with the fantasy draft and everything, but now we have to actually talk about the group stages that are coming up and kind of give us a preview of what's going to be happening. So zrock, again, welcome back.
Hey, don't think I didn't hear that big sigh when you introduced me. You're just like, another Xerox segment.
Yes, bring him back on just to help fill the air.
Yeah. I'm just a
my
time
great
filler.
boys.
At the very least, we have stuff to talk about this week. Last week's
Yeah.
was a little dry, but we got a fantasy draft done. We got TI groups. We got a new major scheduled tentatively. I'm stoked.
Yeah, that's something else. As we're recording, like literally, like a couple hours ago at the most, that you mentioned with the schedule for even next year, almost of sorts being announced. Cyborg Matt tweeting out about a picture basically of an Excel sheet it looked like with all these dates and majors and minors that are going to be happening throughout the year. So we'll talk about that later on. But I mean, that was something. I mean, did not expect that yet.
And as a quick aside before we get too much into it, turns out Bulldog was not trolling. Bulldog will not be attending TI.
Yeah.
Seemed like he was a little too honest with customs officials. So
Yeah.
that's unfortunate. Yep.
Well, I was gonna say I talked about that earlier in the show here with my ugly part of my segment there. It's really unfortunate that he had to go through that, and again the idea that he flew all the way out here and then is just sent back on a plane to fly all the way back. I mean, I've done a lot of international traveling. That would not be fun, man.
Oh no, that'd be terrible.
That would not be fun. And then on top of that, knowing you're not going to go, yeah, it sucks. It sucks. But we want to make this. I mean, as shitty as it is for him, I mean, TI is still happening.
I'm just
positive.
curious if they're going to replace him then. Like,
There's that, yeah.
who they're going to bring out for that. But anyway, yeah, I just thought that was an interesting little aside. I know we talked about it a little in the fantasy draft, how we all thought he might have just been trolling because it's Bulldog, But anyway, we are less than 24 hours away from the group stage.
Well, but by the time you guys hear this, if you're listening to it at least in the morning, it'll be even much less than that. Again, we're recording it basically less than 24 hours, but yeah, I mean, groups could even be starting for you. But the point is, here we are to talk about the groups. The groups finally came out. Now, to be fair, it came out, what was it, like Sunday afternoon, I want to say. So a fairly reasonable time. I remember I sent out a tweet on Sunday. I was like, when are the damn group stages coming out? Because I'm just excited. I want to see them. I want to talk about them.
Yeah.
And then like 2 hours later they came out. So I guess Valve saw my tweet and they're like, all right.
Exactly. You and the thousands of other people tweeting.
Yeah.
When are they coming out?
Must have been it.
So assuming you've had a decent chance to look at them, do you have an idea of which of the groups is going to be the harder group in your opinion?
So, okay, we start with that, huh? Obviously, whenever we have a group stages, that's always the big question is which is the quote unquote group of death, which is the tougher group. So I will say this from my first reaction when I looked at the groups, I don't see either one. I don't lean towards either one as being like, oh, this to me is the obvious group of death. There was one thing I did notice, however, that I found interesting, that Group A only has 2 invited teams, where Group B actually had 4 of the invited teams. I found that a little odd that they didn't just split it 3 and 3. But frankly, I didn't necessarily see these as unfair in either way, or, an OP group.
No, I think they did pretty well in the way they did this. And I don't think you can take it like you would with old GSL format where you think there is a group of death necessarily, where there's like 3 hard teams and an easy team. Because the groups are so big, I think a lot of the ways to look at this one is which group is going to have the hardest bubble fighting for upper and lower bracket, which group's going to be the hardest to even get out of in the first place. And to me, that fairly clearly looks like Group B. I think Group A has some extremely strong teams in it, in e.g. Liquid especially. And Secret is up there, TNC's up there. They have way less of the team's giant question marks for me. Whereas when I look at Group B, there's Execration. I mean, I suppose we can just run through the groups. For those that are just listening and haven't seen it, Group A is EG, TNC, Liquid, IG Vitality, LGD Gaming, Fnatic, Secret, Empire, and Infamous. Group B being OG, Cloud9, Newbie, IG, Virtus Pro, DC, LGD Forever Young, Execration, and Hellraisers. And to me, Group B has DC as a big question mark to me, LGDFY, Execration, and Hellraisers. All 4 of those teams I see being potentially the team knocked out in groups. LFY, maybe not. The other ones, I think, have a very real shot of being on the bottom of that.
Really? For me, I'm a little more set on who I believe is going to be at the bottom, to be honest. For me, it's Infamous in Group A and Execration in Group B. I just do not see... I mean, I think we all kind of agree on Infamous, if anything, because not that they're a bad team, but they're the least experienced on the international level, for one. They're coming off that very poor, outcome of what was the final battle or whatever it was that we talked about in a tournament that they should have maybe gone a little deeper in, no doubt. It's just overall great competition to top it all off, right? So Infamous, I think, is the absolute. As far as Group B goes, again, I lean towards Execration being the 3rd place team out of Southeast Asia. Yes, they were impressive at points, watching them and getting to cast them in the group stages and even into the brackets there. But again, for me, it goes back to the idea. It just seems like they're going to be ultimately outclassed when it comes to these other teams. So for me, it's more defined. I think it's going to be Execration out of Group B.
See, and DC's just had some really bad performances. They really struggled to get their spot from NA. I mean, they fought through a rough set of tiebreakers. They played Freedom. They lost a bunch of these games on the way to teams that aren't even there. And a team like Hellraisers, to me, also is a bunch of question marks. Yes, they've played in some lower tier international stuff, but that's the thing. There's just so many teams that I don't know about. And if you look at it, only 4 of these teams go upper bracket. And in Group B, I think it's fairly safe to say OG, like you'd expect OG, Cloud9, Newbie, probably VP. I would say those would be my top 4, not in that order by any means. But that's the question: is the 4-5, 3-4-5 spots for that group seem really confusing.
Mm-hmm. I do agree there. The middle is definitely tough to see again, and I don't even know if I'm confident suggesting that OG is going to finish at the top. I know I have the wing at all, but as we have seen many times before, I mean, this is a team that won Kiev, yet at the very beginning they lost to SG Esports in their very first game. So I could see them. I believe they're going to make top 4 out of Group B, but again, I don't necessarily see them at the top just because I expect them to win it all. Who's going to be that team that does very well in the groups?
Sure.
I'm going with Virtus Pro, if anything, as a team that I see.
Yeah, I wasn't listing those in any order by far. It was just the teams that I thought were strong. Yeah. No, I think VP's probably the favored. VP OG are probably going to be the 1-2 in that group. Group A, I think it's going to be a disappointment to a lot of people if EG doesn't take that group. I mean, yes, there's some decent competition coming out of China, and they've got to get through Liquid. I mean, I think those are going to be their battles in securing the 1 seed. But other than that, it seems like they've got a lot of room to work, and I'm expecting good things out of EG in this tourney.
A lot of people are, and this is a team that I'm trying not to fall under the fanboyism, I guess you could say, that this organization just has around it in general, because I feel like we've been saying that for so long, and people are kind of living off, what they did, obviously at TI5 winning it all. But I mean, to be fair, last TI they did get 3rd place, so it's not like it was a horrible run by any means. And now they've even switched with the roster. It is a newer roster, of course, Crit joining the party and so on. But it seems like throughout the year, they constantly get this high praise, and they have had good results. But there's always that but there that they kind of, have those hiccups that keep them from, going all the way. So I'm not as sold on EG. I'm really not as sold on EG doing.
Yeah, I mean, the last three TIs, they've only gotten 3rd, 1st, and 3rd. I mean, there's no.
Exactly. It's about time they don't get those now, right? That's how this works.
You're just mad because you didn't get any EG players in the fantasy draft.
I'm not mad at that. Purposely avoided them. Strats.
Yep.
No, but then there's the other part of me, to be fair, that they could possibly, dominate this group, and that is a little more defined to me. I do agree there. I think that is a good point that you're bringing up, where Group B is a little more like we're kind of unsure of how it looks with all those top teams.
It's just like, I think we can, as I said, we can kind of safely say in Group B, it's like OGVP, and then it's just question marks for like the next 5 spots. And then, probably Execration and Hellraisers battling it out for 9th. But, I just, Group A looks so much cleaner to me as far as how I would seed them out. You've got like EG, then you have Liquid, then you have probably LGD, TNC. And then, it's going to be a little bit of a struggle from there. I don't know. I'm just really curious to see how this all falls out. We've got some interesting matches coming up. I mean, right away, you've got OG playing C9. First game of the second wave tomorrow. I'm super excited.
See, that one stands out to you. Honestly, the kickoff match, EG versus TNC. I think that's going to really help determine how Group A could go, because if it's not going to be EG on top, I could see TNC on top, as the hype that I've had around them and what I'm expecting out of them. So I think that's going to be a fantastic kickoff match there. And then neither one of us have really talked too much Liquid, but there's a lot of fanboys around Liquid, and I do think for good reason. They arguably have the best quote-unquote momentum coming into this event, being that they just won Dream League and overall have been doing very well.
Yeah, no, I love Liquid. Absolutely. I think they play fast, they take tempo away from other teams, and they make people play Liquid Dota. It's kind of what I want to see out of teams that like old Southeast Asia or South America, but they actually win games. So, I'm super excited to see how Liquid does. I think the first 2 games are going to really set the tone for Group A, like you said. Again, if EG wins that first game, okay, things are going as is. But if TNC takes that first series, then it's going to be a huge shakeup to that entire bracket.
So are you on boat with me that Infamous is the team we see getting eliminated?
I'm between, I think Infamous is probably going to go out, yes. Potentially Empire struggles against international teams, but they've had a lot of experience against international teams. I'm fairly confident in thinking Infamous will get knocked out, but
exactly. You look at these teams, and it's like it's. I hate saying it like that because I hate being very clear that this team's getting knocked out, because it's almost like an insult to them. But it's just so good. I mean, the teams are just, because like you said, even Empire, even with their situation, which we'll talk about in a second here, but I still feel like they are going to be good enough to at least be above Infamous. Infamous maybe has it in them to have an upset victory once, possibly twice, but it just doesn't. I just do not see it.
Yeah,
that coming through. So,
yeah, I want to say they're going to do well, but it doesn't seem like it's a good patch for the way they like to play Dota. I've watched them a long time, and that fast-paced 5-man early run-at-you style of Dota seems like it's just going to struggle against teams that are able to ward off that early aggression. And I mean, if it was a different time, different patch, different place, maybe they squeak their way out of this. But they're definitely the ones with the biggest uphill battle going into TI.
And hell, I guess the other way to look at it, though, for them, the mental game of, you know what, they have nothing to lose. Just getting to TI is such an accomplishment for them. You know, just have fun with it, and that's maybe the mentality that they should be taking.
Well, and they may have a little bit of an edge in the fact that some of these bubble teams that have never played against them, the LGDs, the IGs, the Fnatics, I mean, hell, Secret even had a few issues there, you know, against SG Esports. It's the same style of Dota. So maybe these teams that are worrying so much about fighting for the upper bracket and neglect to put any time into prepping for Infamous, instead of trying to prepare for the TNCs and the Liquids, and just kind of sleep on them. I mean, maybe they come out real quick and win. Like, what are their first 2 series here? Let's take a look. They've got, oh man, Infamous they don't even play until second wave tomorrow. So they play Secret first, and then they play Empire. And that Empire...
They play on day 1. Sorry. Yeah. They play on day 1. Okay.
Yeah, second wave, though. Like, they bracket them out. They're in the second set of A bracket games. Gotcha. So yeah, they'll be in the, like, after the first break. But their first 2 series, I think, matter a lot. Secret, obviously, infamously... put to shame by SG Esports, you know, last time. So we'll have to see if they've learned from that. But if Infamous squeaks out even 1 win there and then 2-0's Empire, which I think is a possibility being day 1, then they all of a sudden look like they're in much better shape. So I actually think they got really good matchups for them on day 1. I think had they played against like EG or Liquid, another very fast-paced team, on day 1, it would look a lot worse for them. But I think they pulled a couple insanely good draws here.
No, I agree. Kinda, because at the same time, I would like to think that against Secret's going to be much more prepared. Like Puppy is like they're going to make sure they're ready, right? Like they're not going to let that happen again. I mean, I remember talk with Kazu about that. And he did make a point that maybe they weren't as prepared as they should have been. For SG Esports. That's not going to happen this time. I mean, I guarantee you they're not only pumping against them, whatever it may be, but also watching those replays. And
yeah, the replays are the big thing. I've harped on Infamous. I've talked to their manager. I've talked to their coach. To me, their drafting style is extremely binary. They've got combos they like to run. These 2 heroes or these 3 heroes as a set piece. And if you can pick them apart just by looking at their replays or just looking at the stats on them, all of a sudden they drop from being a fringe T1.5 team down to like a tier 2, tier 3 team. So yeah, I definitely think as long as teams put in the prep work, Infamous should be essentially the free win in the bracket if teams actually pay attention.
Yeah. Real quickly before we continue moving on here, talking about the groups, to clarify how they work, guys, it is a best out of 2. I know I had mentioned it before in a previous podcast. I thought that it was going to be best of 3, but no, it is best of 2, just group stages here. So again, each team, they play the other team, 8 other teams twice each. So we're looking at 16 games each for each of the teams. There is a payout of what was decided to be 0.25% of the prize pool, which still turns out to be about $58,000 right now to the 17th and 18th place team. So even if you get eliminated in the group stages, you're still going home with nearly $60,000.
Which I got to say, finally, great move from Valve that needed to happen a long time ago. They're still playing games on the event. They're still getting games streamed. They're still putting content in. For Valve to actually pay them out, even if it's just essentially an appearance fee, it's how it should have been years ago. So glad to see that. I think it's definitely a step in the right direction.
Absolutely. All right. So, and I kind of hinted at it earlier. Let's just get into this. There's obviously been some storylines as a result of these couple of days now as the players and teams have been coming in. Almost all the players. We thought that we actually had all the players, but unfortunately, we heard kind of last minute here, yesterday, late last night, I want to say even, Team Empire. They do not have their 5th player, Chappie, who is, of course, their carry player. He actually did not make it he might have made it to the States, and he might have been sent back. I'm not exactly sure how that played out. But simply put, he had visa issues as he was either trying to go out or got there, and he's back home. He's back in Europe now, or CIS even as a result of that. So, from last I've heard, they are still trying to get him out here, and there's still a good possibility that he could eventually make it out here, perhaps later in the group stages. But he's definitely not making it for day one, possibly not further than that. And as a result of that, Resolution, who was going to be a caster, of course, Planet Odd didn't qualify and everything, so he's going to be a caster for the CIS stream there. He's now the player. He's now stepping in as a player for Team Empire, going to be the official ringer for them. So I want to start with the idea with you first on Chappie not making it so far. I mean, what did you think about, when you first heard that? He's not
honestly, it's tough because the amount of time they have between qualifiers and getting this visas figured out, it's extremely tight, especially if you don't live near a consulate and you have to mail stuff off. It takes weeks to get that out and back. And then if you fail it, trying to get it back in again, it's insanely tough. And the fact that we got everybody but one player there is honestly fairly impressive. But I'm a little confused because I know we saw some of the drama coming out of the Chinese teams with them struggling to get visas and getting denied the first time, and their second wave all went through. So I'm not sure what the hang up is. They've been pretty quiet about why he hasn't gotten in, but it just seems odd that it's such a struggle to get people here. I mean, we have visa issues every year, and this tournament's getting bigger and bigger, and it's being watched by more people. And the fact that we just don't have like a buy-in and we'll make sure they get them home type visa is just weird to me. Like, they can make a $1,000+ visa where Valve co-signs that they will put them on the flight themselves at the end to make sure they go home. And yet we still have this kind of issue every year.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on it, so it's hard for me to sit here and, again, comment on all of it by any means, but I'm with you. It's and I think we're with the masses, really. It's just like, how does this keep happening? This feels weird. Like, and it's not even necessarily that we're trying to put blame on Valve. At least I'm not. I mean, but because I understand that this is just it's beyond Valve. This is big. This is, government. This is the nations. We're talking about like the world in general, as far as being able to travel around. And it's just stuff that's unfortunately seems like it's out of our control, even though it really shouldn't be. So yeah, it maybe had something to do with the and also a lot what I've heard too, and it sounds like maybe in this case the same thing, is the interview itself. Like, it could just be a matter of you happen to get somebody that maybe has heard of esports, they understand what's going on, or they kind of shake or they kind of scratch their head like, what is this esports? What is this event? Well, now I'm suspicious, and then it kind of turns on them because of that. So
I mean, I'm not going to promote illegal activity, but fair thing for anyone coming to another foreign country. If you're there on a tourist visa, just say you're going to see some friends. Like, if you're just going on a tourism visa, which a lot of these players are, there's no reason to say what you're doing. I'm going to go see some friends and see America. Like, the second you open your mouth and talk too much is when you get into trouble.
Yeah, but that sucks, right? Because it's like, I know for me personally, like, I hate the idea of even lying, even though as simple as it is, and it wouldn't really hurt you.
You're going to see some friends. Your teammates are friends. Your fellow competitors, they're your friends. You're just going to see some friends, man.
You're not telling the whole truth, that's for sure. But you're right. I guess you're not technically lying.
That's what happened to me in China. They pulled me aside and asked what I was doing there. I'm just like, just going to hang out.
Yeah, no, but it's. And then and again, I talked about it earlier, and you had even mentioned as we began this whole, obviously the Admiral Bulldog situation came about.
That one's more complicated because he is strictly coming here to work. He is receiving income directly as a result of services rendered. So that one gets way more complicated because work visas are a whole different mess. But
not that I'm like trying to make one seem bigger than the other. Like, it sucks for both parties. But I do feel a little bit worse for Chappie, right? Like, a player that qualified for this event, competing for a $23 million+ prize pool, and then to be told, like, oh, no, you can't go because of legal bullshit, basically.
Yeah, your life-changing tournament that could give you enough money to live for years. Yeah, you just can't go play.
Yeah. I hope that it gets worked out. Again, from like I said, we're not hearing a lot on it, but the little that I was, Empire, the Twitter guy, at least, he's being upbeat about it, and he's making it seem like there's a chance that it still could come. Yeah. But this goes to the idea, though. Now, the other side of this is, as I mentioned, Resolution is stepping in. How do you feel about that? You think that's fine? I mean, it makes sense, right?
First and foremost, I'm very confused that it's not Zhao 8. He just gets to every TI, man, one way or the other. I mean, he's gonna be there somehow, and he's gonna play. It's just gonna happen. But no, all in all, Let's first talk about the team itself. I think Resolution will slot in well with it. I know he's had some issues with, I believe, FN in the past. They've played on rosters together. They don't really like each other, but they'll be able to put it aside for a tournament like this, as long as it's going at least okay. But I think he's a good carry. I think he's very versatile. He'll slot in well for them. But should he be able to play on essentially 2 rosters? That was the question, right? Like the big one, because he played in the qualifiers under Planet Odd, which is now officially disbanded, not only dropped from Planet Odd. So now he is teamless, but I don't know how I feel about the double dipping. Like, I think there's a big issue in the fact that subs are being underutilized in Dota right now. We don't see like in League of Legends, they swap people out between series, especially in the Korean scene. Like mid-game in a series, they'll game 1 will be over, they'll swap in new players for game 2. We don't do that in Dota. You have your 5, they play the games, that is what it is. And I'm wondering if with the new major minor system, depending on how this all shakes out, and I'll get into this a little more later, if we won't see subs being utilized a little better. And if that's the case, maybe we won't see this issue come up in the future. But right now, with the way Dota's been, I think this is about the only way to handle it. Even though Rezo was on another team, it's an unusual situation. It's an extraordinary situation, and you still want the team to be able to compete.
Yeah, that's my the way what I was going to go with that too. It's like it doesn't feel right. It seems like that it does maybe set a bad precedent, and you got to be careful about constantly just allowing this to happen. But what's the other outcome, right? At this point, because of where we're at, do we just say, well, Empire just can't play? I mean, that would suck. Like, that would just suck for everyone, the fans, the team. Like, and so they're not going to do that. So I think everyone's fine that they're doing this, but I am with you that we have to have something more clear.
Because, like, I guess the fair option would be letting them take any sub that didn't play in the qualifiers, but you had a CIS qualifier. What are you just taking every... Like, there goes literally every pro level player in Russia and, all of CIS. It just wouldn't work. But I'll definitely dive into that a little more later once we hit the schedule.
All right. So, yeah, Empire, though, even despite that, again, if they can get over set issues that maybe that they had in the past with FN and Resolution, I'm sure they will be in the tournament that it is. Resolution's a great kind of step in, right? Like, I assume they of course, still want Chappie, and when they get Chappie, he'll by all means be. But then there's even the more to it. Not to get too deep into this, but it's like, how does this work now with the prize pool for them, right? Like, does now Resolution get a part of their prize pool? Does he still get paid by Valve for working the event? I mean, I just don't even know. So
the last I've heard from the managers, Valve cuts the org a check, and then the check is split amongst the players. But I've also heard that when there was some pushback or an org dissolved between time of payment and the event, that it was individually sent to the players. I mean, to me, the proper way to do it is you cut Resolution in for a fifth of whatever that 18th, 9th, or 17th, 18th place prize pool is. Like, he gets his 13 grand or whatever it is, 16 grand. And that's what he gets for getting him there. And then everything else goes to Resolution. You give Chappie his dues for getting you there. It sucks he couldn't get there and help the team win, but from there on out, anything over and above last place should go to Resolution, in my opinion.
That's I don't know, that's tough.
It's either that or you just say you split it like 6 ways, like assume you played 6 players. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough spot, but it's something they can work out amongst themselves. They're all big boys.
They are. Well, hopefully, again, in the big picture, hopefully Chappie does make it out there, even if it's later in the groups. And
the harder thing is going to be if he makes it out day 2, day 3, what do you do? Like, if he gets out there and they've already played some games with Resolution, how's Valve going to handle that?
Oh, no, they've already made a point that that's allowed.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah, no, they made a point that that's allowed. Resolution is going to be the temporary set. That's why I keep going back to, from what I'm hearing, there's still a chance that he's coming out and he'll be stepping in then once he actually gets there. But Resolution is a temporary stand-in at this time.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Group B. We're going back to Group B now, unless there's much else to say about Group A there. But Fnatic's a team that actually, real quick, haven't really touched on either, but they're kind of a wild card team for me. I could see them possibly having a big run in this event or dropping really low as well. I mean, the roster just seems so good, honestly. And I've always been a huge fan of Ajit. Obviously, he's on my fantasy, so I kind of hope for that too. But
Yeah, I mean, I think there's potential for a number of the teams, even in Group A, to make a good run. I think IG Vitality is another team that looks like the roster is super good, but they need to actually be able to perform. Fnatic, Secret, they're all kind of that way to me right now. My question mark, I think Fnatic will have a chance to do okay. I don't see them making upper bracket. Secret's the one with the most question marks for me, though. Ever since they put Yapsor in, they've looked like a different team. And I'm really curious to see how that stands up at TI, where you're playing just a ton of games and just stacked against the best competition.
Yeah, I'm trying to like visualize what I see as the top 4 in Group A, and it is tough because I want to have EG there and TNC as like absolutes. And then I want to have Liquid there because what we talked about. But then who's that 4th team?
To me, in order, it's like EG, Liquid, TNC, probably Secret.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a Secret fanboy. I love Keizu, but I don't know.
LGD could just, yep. That's the question mark to me. If they can slow Liquid down, definitely curious to see how they do. I just don't know how TNC is going to do against some of these Chinese teams. And I never know with TNC. Like, I thought they were going to bomb out last year. Mm-hmm. And Demon really pulled them all together. They made a hell of a run. I don't know what Demon's going to do.
It's 1437's turn, yeah. To do that here. Okay. Well, Group B. Going back to Group B now, kind of previewing or more so breaking down what we think here. So, again, on top, personally, I have Virtus.pro as the team that I would look to as they're probably going to be the team to beat in this group because, again, them and OG, sure, but like I said, I feel like OG doesn't necessarily, not that they're not trying or anything, but they just don't have as good of a run. Almost like the same thing with EG, to be fair, so you could argue that for Group A, but OG... They start a little slow, but then they really pick it up when it actually matters. So, but yeah, that's why it goes back to Virtus.pro for me is probably the top team I'm looking at.
Yep, I'm with you there. Yeah, I think VPs should, in theory, stomp their way through this bracket pretty cleanly. Maybe dropping a game to newbie, OG, something like that. But I see them coming out top. And to round it out, it's probably like OG to me. I think they'll shape up and they'll probably clean out of the group here. And newbie, Newbie's been looking good. They've put up some good placements. They snuck their way into the last invite slot that was announced. I see them doing well here overall, especially looking at the competition.
Isn't it kind of weird how IG isn't getting the respect that maybe they deserve? I feel like that's happening. What we're going with? Well, because they got, again, out of the major events this year, they've done the best out of any Chinese team, right? Because they got top 4 Kiev. And both Kiev and Boston, Chinese teams just failed. And I still stand by that. I think that trend's going to continue. I think the China scene is not going to do well this event once again. And maybe we'll see one get to top 4, but that's it. But yeah, IG's kind of not getting respect. Is that worth respect or?
I mean, to be fair, I really couldn't tell you. They do have ROTK as a coach, which I think is super helpful in just somebody that's got a ton of experience coupled with Burning. Burning's a legend, been around for a long time. Their lineup has the potential to go deep, but they need a star player to come through. Like, the issue I've had with them is it used to always be Burning on any roster he was on. And the meta hasn't favored those farm till 6-7 slot carries lately. And because of that, he's fallen off a little bit. He's struggled a bit. And they need somebody to come out as the big playmaker here. And if they get their star, their leader, shining through, I could see them doing very well. But I just think there's too many question marks for me to say they're going to make top 4 in their group.
Yeah. Yeah, so for me, and I think you were even the same here, honestly, OG, Cloud9, Newbie, and Virtus.pro is just my top 4. It's a lot more clean cut than Group A for sure.
And I got to say, I get it's a bit of a shock to some people that I would take Cloud9 over IG or LGDFY, but they've just shown this tenacity against the best competition when they get up against them. Yeah. Like, it's just nuts what they've shown that they can do in just taking series off of insanely good teams.
Is it just the fact that they're now Cloud9? Do you think that's a little bit of bias too? If they were NP, would we be saying the same?
I mean,
is the organization giving them that extra oomph?
Maybe.
No, I mean, I feel like we were saying this before, though. To be fair, and I've definitely talked about that. Where again, with the whole Pilot YapzOr situation, so you're getting YapzOr, Pilot going to NP, now Cloud9, and it just felt like that all made sense. The roster or the role changes. It just seems like this is a team now that's considered an elite team, honestly.
Well, and I'm actually curious how integrated they are in C9's organization, because I do know C9 is one of the few organizations that has what I would consider a fully developed esports org. They've got a team psychologist, they've got a nutritionist, they've got all of this support staff through their League of Legends team that is available to everyone on Cloud9. So if they're integrated into the system, those are some things that can help them out tremendously in just calming them down, getting them eating right, like all these little things that can give them an edge.
What's going on in the background?
It's hailing outside all of a sudden.
Is that hail? Okay, I was like, is that laundry going on, or
Let me try to turn my mic down even more.
I mean, it's just like I just started hearing this. Yeah, I mean that makes sense now that you mentioned it's hail.
All right, is this better at all?
That's a little better, yeah.
All right. Yeah, it is.
Jesus.
I may have roof damage. It is nuts.
Well, that was sounding pretty loud right there. All right,
anyway,
back to what we were talking about there. All right, so Cloud9. Yeah, that's actually interesting about the organization itself. And no doubt Cloud9 is one of the most established organizations. I mean, in esports as a whole. So a very good pickup. And, I remember your reaction when I had mentioned that to you.
I was almost giddy.
Really? Yeah.
But I was almost surprised. Jack said he wanted nothing to do with Dota. I was surprised when he picked up that old, what was it, Balkan Bears, Danish Bears lineup?
Danish Bears, yeah.
Yep. Just because after the way that the whole Ritsu thing panned out with Brax's old team, he said he was done with Dota. He didn't like the scene. So.
And then he saw TI7 with a $23 million prize pool, and he's like, all right, I'll second guess myself, I guess.
I mean, he's a businessman. He sees an opportunity. He's going to dive in.
Yeah, just like Hellraisers there, who, for me, and I don't know, to be fair, this might be biased in the sense of if I happen to have a guest on the show from a team, I just kind of like them that much more. I think we saw that a little bit with TNC. I did have 3-3 on about a month ago now, right after, of course, they qualified for TI. But and we talked about it in the fantasy a little bit with, Grant mentioned it. This is a team I think more and more people are respecting. They're kind of realizing that, you know what, these guys are actually pretty good, even though we didn't realize that going into the regional qualifiers.
Yeah, I mean, they're just the team that grinds to me. Like, they just play these from open qualifier all the way on for a lot of these tourneys, and they just never go away. This roster, in some iteration, has been around for quite a while now, and they just don't die. Like, there's something to be respected. And I'm going to let you rant for a bit while I go see if, I'm losing a window right now.
Oh, boy. For me, it's, nice and sunny outside, so weather, how could that be different in every place? But, yeah, so Hellraisers, the situation with them, they, honestly, for me, they remind me a lot of, like an Ad Phenom almost. This idea that, and to be fair, I haven't really seen a lot of them in person by any means, but I do think they released a video, their reaction and when they had qualified, and they kind of seem like that team that's coming from, not a whole lot. They're really just grinding, and not the most known players on top of that, but they've been doing so for a while kind of themselves, and now this is their chance to really show everyone we're a big deal, basically. And, in Ad Phenom's case, of course, was the Boston Major. In the case of now Hellraisers, it's going to be for what is TI7 and a $23 million prize pool. Now, I'm not going to sit here and suggest that they're getting top 4 in their group, let alone, going deep in the playoff. I don't know if that's going to be the case. I don't think it is.
I will safely say it won't.
Okay, well, so you'll go the other way. No, but if out of all 18 teams, if I had to choose a dark horse team where you're kind of like, I don't know how's this team going to do it. For me, it is Hellraisers. If they could possibly be this kind of deep run team that maybe a lot of people didn't see coming.
Yeah. I don't see it yet. If I'm going to pick a dark horse, to me, it's something like Fnatic. It's a team that has shown to some extent that they can play against the big boys, that they've made some attempts at deep runs before, and then this is their breakout tourney. I don't think Hellraisers has the experience there.
Yeah. I'm waiting for a window.
I literally have a cracked window.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
That kind of sucks. I'm sitting here laughing, but that sucks. Oh,
no,
shit.
it's like ping pong ball-ish size hail right now. It's sitting on my roof.
Jesus.
So yeah, if I die, remember me. Last podcast.
Oh wow. By the way, I don't know if I just saw this announcement. This was a couple of hours ago.
The All-Star?
The All-Star game.
Yeah, I saw it when I woke up this morning.
Yeah, that's
It's
something
not
else
what I
to
expected.
talk about. But okay, so before we do that though,
All right. I
so
think
Group
we
B-
beat these groups pretty well.
yeah, not much else. DC, yeah, I want to like them more, but I'm not expecting, kind of like with everyone else, it seems like, not expecting a deep run by them either. Part of me is almost like, damn it, why do they have to be Complexity? Or even Team Freedom for that matter.
Freedom.
to
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah.
Right.
Freedom.
They deserve it. They do deserve it, so.
That's fair. And to be fair, I see them getting out of the group. I just don't see them doing much more after that. Like, I think they'll be a lower division team, and unless they draw, well, that's the problem, right? Like, they're going to be going against a team from Group A of the opposite seed. I don't know who they could draw in Group A that they would beat if we assume Infamous is the knockout team.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually, as well. So, yeah, they match up. So it's like 1 versus 4 of Group B and so on.
Yeah, so maybe Empire. Like, that's... I don't know. I don't see them clearing the first round of bracket play.
All right, so that's Group A. And Group B, though, again, 18 teams in total. 1 team of each group will be eliminated after the group stages, the bottom team. And then we have a 16-team main event. What's up?
Nothing. It starts slowing down, and then it comes down, like, bigger.
And then it just continues.
Yep.
Yeah, Hills,
All right, so
Hills.
let's talk about this All-Star thing.
Okay, fine. We'll talk about that. Yeah, so I was actually going through to kind of get the other tweet about the schedule announcement of the upcoming season here, but then I saw this, and I didn't see this until now, so I'm glad I noticed it. All right, so yeah, I guess the All-Star team were announced. Now, again, I'm still not sure how they got this, whether they just took, like, the top 2 votes of each role and then just kind of split them up or what, but apparently... 1 team, in this case Team Radiant, will be Ramses at carry, Sumail at mid, S4 as the offlaner, and Baboka and Kuroki as the supports. And then Team Dire, we have No-Till as the carry, Miracle as the mid, Universe as the offlane, Kaka and Solo as supports. Okay, so that's our All-Star match. What was your reaction, zrock?
A lot of this is pretty much... Some of it was what I thought, right? Like, Sumail, No-Tail, Miracle, Universe, Kuroki, all people I thought would go. Those were all very predicted to me. I'm a little bit surprised about supports, seeing Kaka and Baboka there. I'm glad we're getting a little bit of Chinese representation in this, but definitely surprised me a little bit. And then to have Solo and Ramses and no one feels a little weird.
Yeah.
But I guess there's just so many more favorite mid players than there are like carries or hard fives.
That's what you have to look at, right? Like, because no one, sure, but then that would have been him over Sumail or Miracle. Mm-hmm. And those are 2 of arguably the most popular players in all of Dota. True. So, and let's be honest, it's not like people are going into this who really deserves this? No, they're going into this, who do I want to see? Which is kind of the point, to be fair. I mean, that's what an All-Star match should be. In a lot of ways. Now, as we've mentioned, this is a $100,000 winner-take-all match here, so there is something on the line even. But yeah, no, that's going back to your point though about the supports, especially the biggest thing for me is no Jerax. I think that's a steal. That's like, what? How did Jerax not make this? I'm sorry, but Kaka, Baboka, both great players. Jerax is the best 4 in Dota right now.
I mean, I don't know. Apparently just didn't get enough votes. And to be fair, we don't know for sure how they picked this. Like, we can assume it was just top votes and then they just split it in half. But have they actually made an announcement? Or like, this is one of those things I wish they would just post. It does say top 2 vote getters from each position, so
yeah.
I guess Baboka and Kaka took the spot from him.
And then Kuroki's kind of another one to me. Like, I know he's a famous player, but I'm honestly surprised for a couple of reasons that he got the fan vote, but then two, he definitely I'm sorry, but he doesn't deserve to be the 5 position either. I mean, off the bat, I maybe again more fanboy, but Fly off the bat. Yeah. I think one of the best captains out there. So.
See, you haven't been around Dota long enough. Kuroki is just one of those legends that's been around forever. And he does have a big, huge fan base. I mean, he's been at so many different TIs under so many different teams, and I think he's plenty of a deserving person to go there. I'm a bit surprised Solo took it over, like as you said, Fly or Theban or something like that. But I'm not surprised by Kuroki at all.
1437, yeah. I'm kind of just going through right now to see who would have made more sense to me, but
Puppy. It would have been really funny to see Puppy versus Kuroki. That would have been great.
Or Puppy versus Eternal Envy, even, yeah. This
Puppy
Puppy versus many people.
Old Navi together. So
yeah. You've been watching this the rebroadcast, by the way, that there was the rebroadcast, what was it, the TI3 finals?
No,
Alliance versus Navi. It was pretty epic. There was like 15,000 viewers like watching the TI3 finals again. And we're all like reacting as if it was live. It was pretty fun, actually.
I've just been caught up watching Twitch plays anime.
Oh yeah, well, there's understandably, yes. I totally overlooked that.
Mm-hmm.
I chime into that every once in a while. I'm just like, I can't watch this. It all feels the same to me. Like every time I chime into it, just see what's on. It's like literally the same thing. So
yeah,
I can't do it.
Yeah.
Let's not get too sidetracked here, though. All right, so that's the All-Star match there. Again, all deserving, kind of. I think I would have rather seen Jerax for me is the one that's like, come on, I can't. That sucks. But other than that, I see where,
I'm a little bit disappointed in the fact that because they're putting so much money on this, I don't see them making it as clowny as they have in years past. They've done some really weird things with the All-Star game. They've had Dendy come out of the crowd and play.
I see. I remember that dressed up as Pudge there.
Yeah, it was like they played 10v10 Dota. They switched captains and had them draft each other's teams at one point. Like they've always made it this big fun break between the third place match and the finals. And now that it's going to be a little more serious, I'm wondering if it's going to make that day seem a little too drawn out, too much hype, if that is a thing. But we'll have to see.
Well, and then there's the idea, let's not forget, if any of these players are actually in the finals, they're not playing in this. I mean, there's no way that they're playing in this, right? Like, now, well, will they? Because in a traditional sport, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons of injury or whatever. But I guess for an esport, you think they would?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
That feels weird to me. That feels because you're competing. You have a best of 5 coming up for $10 million, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I just said that. $10 million for first place, compared to 3.7 right now for second place. We're essentially talking more than $6 million difference. You're telling me they're going to be worrying about an All-Star match before that comes out? They're not going to be nervous.
I don't think they're going to worry. I don't think anyone's prepping for it, but I absolutely think they'll play in it. It's honestly something some of these people look forward to, and they find a lot of fun throughout the year. And both of those teams have coaches that are going to be doing a lot of prep work behind the scenes anyway. They can take an hour out of their time to do this. I don't see a team skipping it.
If I was a manager of one of these teams, I wouldn't let my players do it. I wouldn't. I wouldn't want anything to distract them.
No fun.
Even if, hey, no fun fucking playing for $13-14 million here. It's a lot of money, man.
Fun, breaky. But you also got to realize from a mental standpoint, this kind of thing can be good. It gives them a bit of a break and an escape from trying to just be focused constantly throughout the day. Without this, I mean, some teams crumble, some players struggle with the stress. It's a nice little reliever. And it's not like you go right from this into the finals. It's going to be 40 minutes between it.
Yeah, really looking at this, though, we have 2 from VP, 2 from EG, 2 from OG, 2 from Liquid, and then we got Newbie and IGV.
Yep. Huh. Definitely tell the favorite teams just looking at the list.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So that's how that turned out. All right. This now we can start talking about our schedule here. Yeah. Do you have a link, by the way? I've been trying to find a link this whole time. I never kept it.
I do.
Of the
Send
picture
it to
there.
you on Discord.
Okay. So for those that don't know what we're talking about, Cyborg Matt, what does Cyborg Matt do? But does he work for Valve? Is that a thing?
Yes and no. Cyborg Matt is technically the manager of Secret. But he does more than that. He's involved with Valve in different things, but
I feel like there's a lot of those characters with Valve in Dota.
yeah.
Like,
I mean,
just
Bruno
worker
used to be a
inside.
caster, and now he's like event manager. It's definitely bizarre. Event coordinator? I don't remember what his official title is. But no, Matt's great. Matt's the one that got me into the arena when our tickets weren't going to work for Shanghai Major. Like, our tickets just weren't scanning, and you couldn't speak English to any of the ticket takers and didn't know any Mandarin. So he ran out and just like flashed his badge and grabbed 6 of us and just pulled us through. It was great.
Good guy. Anyway, so he posted a tweet here. Basically, I'm guessing he took this picture. Somebody did of this printed out paper, kind of crumpled up. Not gonna lie, it's a little. Anyways, it's like an Excel sheet here, and it basically has start date, end date, whether it's a major or a minor, and then the total prize pool, and then the organizer of said event. Pretty much what we get from this is it's a list of the upcoming season that we've talked about before, of course, with the new structure and everything. Of what's essentially 11 majors and 11 minors, 22 events right now that are set to come up. We're talking about organizers from DreamHack to PGL to ESL to Perfect World to Mars TV, etc. So it's pretty cool to see, right? Like, that was my first reaction. I assume yours too. It's like, okay, now we actually start to get to see something of what's to come, perhaps.
Yeah. No, I'm super excited to see this posted for a lot of reasons, but to just start with the biggest one, teams will not be able to play in every major and every minor anymore. There's just no feasible way to do it. That's honestly the best thing that came out of this, to seeing this for me. They are super fast paced. I mean, essentially we're going to have one a month and then about a 2-month dead period between the last major and then TI. And I'm super excited with the way some of these majors are set up. It looks like some teams may not even be able to play in every major. It's going to be insanely fast paced if they want to do that. So I'm loving seeing the schedule already. I'm loving seeing it posted in advance. And I mean, all I can say is I'm super excited. There's so much to look forward to in the next year.
Not to be Debbie Downer here, but as excited as I am, something about seeing this from a picture phone on a crumpled up piece of paper doesn't excite me the most, right? Like I want to wait till the
leak, man. It's
official information here, but no, yeah, it is cool to see. And what is really cool to see from this is we have 11 majors. I mean, now obviously the major of this isn't what we know it as necessarily from the past, but that's 11 events that are at least $1 million prize pool. In fact, looking down the list, all of them are set to be $1 million, other than the last one, this PGL major, which is set to be $1.5 million in June right there. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money right there that's spread out. And again, it's going to give teams different teams because, like you said too, that there's just so much happening. You're going to have to pick and choose what events you want to attend.
Well, let me go into my little tangent here that I was alluding to earlier. What I'm hoping this does is gets us more A and B teams, that we have a like LGD and LGDFY, but make it a very designated, like A and a B team, and then your B team is the subs on your A team, and then they go play all the minors. So if your team needs to use a sub for a major, they pull them off the B team and pull them up, and then your B team runs around all these minors, is still bringing home good prize money at $300,000 for a prize pool in every one of these. And then we start seeing dynasty organizations start to develop, teams with 2, 3, 4 sub teams. And that's what I really want to see come out of this, because it would give subs a real use in the system if they could play in the minors but still be on the sub roster for the majors. Like,
almost like an amateur league of sorts.
Exactly. That's what I want to see this come out to be, is just an amateur division. And if it works that way. My fear is that the biggest of the biggest orgs that have the best infrastructure and can afford a boot camp in every major time zone that they're going to be playing in could play in everything. Mm-hmm. You know, you get done on the 15th of October, you jump on your flight for the tournament on the 19th. You know, I'm a little worried a team like EG or a VP or an IG might do something like that. And I think that's totally going to destroy the spirit of what's intended to happen here.
A couple other side things from this. One being, if you can refresh my memory too on this with the structure, all these events, both minor and major, they have to have a set qualifying tournament, right? Where it's all the regions and everything.
6 region qualifier in every one of these.
So that's something else you really have to keep in mind too. There's 22 lands, major and minors playing, but then on top of that, there's the qualifiers that are going to have to take place. Like,
yeah,
that seems we're already taking up 22 weeks worth during the year, which is there's 52 weeks in a year, right? So 22 of those weeks are going to be land focused. You got to figure that on top of that, now there's going to be the qualifiers happening as well. Yeah, it's just nearly like 40 weeks of the year plus are going to be involved in Dota, some kind of big Dota event, whether it's a qualifier, the minor, or the major itself.
I would imagine we may see open qualifiers dying out for the majors. There's nothing stipulated by Valve that they have to run an open qualifier for every region.
Oh, good point.
So I could very strongly see, okay, you give the winners of the minor the week before a direct invite to the main qualifier. You invite these teams. And maybe you do like a closed open qualifier where you take like lesser known teams. And because most of the regions know their tier 2 scene. Mm-hmm. And they could put together something like that. But I'm guessing we may see a slow death to open qualifiers, at the very least at the major and TI level. But we'll have to see how it pans out. Because, yeah, as you said, that's a lot of Dota to organize. That's a lot of Dota to pay for. It's going to be interesting to see how they all handle this.
Guys, you know, both zrock and I, if anyone's tuning in that has or is part of these organizations, whatever, if you guys need casters, you know, we're available. Just saying. That's something tells me there's going to be a lot of those opportunities coming up here. So I know you as well. We're definitely excited seeing this for that reason on top of everything else. It's like,
hey, Milton,
okay,
I'm free in December. Let me know.
Well, that's actually specifically on DreamHack. I found interesting that they have 2, right, with the December and then January. So I found that a little odd.
Yeah, they have super fast majors, almost back to back. And I would imagine that's just them taking the time they want. I'm assuming they wanted to keep it as far away from TI as they could. Like, that had to be the most sought after slot, was that like January major, because it's the polar opposite time of the year from TI.
True. Yeah, that's what January 15th through the 21st is that $1 million major for DreamHack as the organizer. I know DreamHack itself and the main DreamHack in Sweden is in November, late November usually. So unless the one in December 1st to 3rd is going to be that DreamHack, that could be it actually, because they might move it around for that purpose, or they might be moving it. Point is, the other one though, the January one, I wonder where that's going to end up.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
That's just, this is the beginning of this though, right? This whole discussion. This is the leak. As you said, this is the leak. We'll get plenty of information, I'm sure, post TI.
I'd love for it to be somewhere cool if they've ran DreamHacks before, like Collusion Polka or something. You know, just one of those kind of off the wall venues that did very well for them and was a nice event, but isn't in their standard locations. Because like, it's pretty safe to say ESL is probably going to be in Cologne. Maybe Frankfurt, but like it's more than likely going to be a European major. PGLs are either going to be, I would guess they're going to be Southeast Asia for the most part.
That's a good point. And then, breaking down what the regions are going to be.
Mars
that would
TV
be
is either China or CIS.
Oh, yeah. China.
We not only have a BTS minor, but a BTS major. That was interesting to see for me.
Oh, yeah, true.
Then there's a couple I've never heard of. GESC is like an old StarCraft 2 league thing they used to run.
Yeah, they have 4 minors on this, yeah.
And so, I'm not sure if that's them trying to make a triumphant return here, or I'm glad to see Epicenter get a hold of one. I know they've been struggling a little bit, not feeling like they've necessarily been getting valued as much as they want. So glad to see them get a nod here. The one I'm really sad that we're not seeing though, Breaky, E-League. I wanted an E-League Dota major so bad.
Well, again, this goes back to, this is just we don't know. This is a leak. There's still room, kinda, maybe to fit something in. Maybe not, but
and to be
still
fair,
time.
E-League is, I mean, it's owned by Turner Broadcasting. They've pretty much said they only want to do Street Fighter and CS, but the stuff they've produced has been insanely high quality.
Yeah, it's been cool, but at the same time, I just don't know if a MOBA in general, whether it's Dota, League, whatever, is really ready. I mean, HOTS I know has had some success with that, especially, but
it's hard to televise it well.
It's hard to tell. It's a very hard game for like CS:GO and Street Fighter. Like those are very easy to watch for an avid spectator, right? Like,
yep.
You're talking about a MOBA, it starts to get more complex. So it would be nice to have that, but I understand. I'm not like disappointed necessarily that we don't see that at least yet. But again, this is the leak, this is the hype. Who knows, right? Who knows how this is all going to play out now? We do have a tentative idea though. And October 11th, it's apparently going to be the first minor with what we're looking at here. That's what the Star Ladder organizer. So we'll have about a couple months break. Yeah.
And then we've got, I mean, almost 2.5 months till a major. That's a long time. So Dead Zone's usually about a month after TI.
Well, Boston major wasn't until
the major wasn't, but that was also the old system. We had, I think there was that cruise ship tourney. Nanyang was pretty close to around after TI, I think.
MDL
I don't know. They had a few that were about a month after.
Yeah. There was a couple. Yeah, that was right as I was joining the scene, actually. So, yeah, MDL was the big one, I remember.
So, yeah, no, I'm really curious to see how this plays out, and the fact that, okay, we're going to have all these minors rolling, essentially a minor and a major every month. And with that in place, what are the third-party orgs that aren't on this list going to do? Do they start hosting T3 tourneys? Do they just back out entirely? There's a lot of room here for third-party tournaments to like step up, but I don't know where they're going to find their teams, because those tier 3 tourney teams are going to be playing in qualifiers for these minors.
Exactly. And that's hard.
Yeah.
Maybe it's at a point of you kind of have to accept that this is the new system and that's just how it's going to be, and you can't do it as a result. So
yeah,
that might be one of the downsides of this new system for sure.
And we'll definitely have to see. And Valve is definitely giving the organizers on this list a lot of clout in offering the points, right? In offering a direct route to get to TI. So a lot of the teams are going to pass up playing in tournaments that aren't sanctioned on this list just for that reason alone.
I really am just the most surprised that we even have this information yet.
I know, because I'm so glad.
I was expecting it to be a long time, like post TI definitely, before we started to even see remotely any idea of a schedule or whatever. But and then a whole other, TI is just starting tomorrow. It's like, oh, by the way, here's the full season schedule for next season.
Yeah,
well, that's cool. So
I was worried we were going to get like 2 majors in advance, right? That there's this one in 2 months and this one in 4 months, and the minors on the way, and that was all we'd get until those were done, and then another 4 months or 3 months. To get the whole year just dumped like this, if this does get officially confirmed, very, very happy. It sets a very high bar in visibility and making sure visas are taken care of. And because in reality, any of the teams that were TI bound or potentially TI bound should have had visas already, right? Like, been working on it at least and trying to get it done. If you're on a top 12 team in the world, that should have been done already. So knowing that these majors are in place, the last thing to do is give us areas, like where they're going to be. And then I think these orgs need to start being proactive and saying, okay, well, we need to start securing Russian visas if there's going to be 3 majors in Russia.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see. I'm excited to see how this pans out.
I am as well, and many are out there. But the focus ultimately going to be on TI7 for good reason. Again, the group stages literally start Wednesday morning at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Well, it's 9:30 a.m. Pacific, actually. So bright and early for those teams. Hopefully they get plenty of sleep and going to be ready to go on Wednesday morning with the kickoff matches. Their best of 2 start. Next 4 days will be the group stages. At the end of that, we do plan to release another podcast, as we mentioned in the previous show. Guys, we're looking to do one on Sunday, ideally, have one come out. And then, obviously, off to TI it is for both of us and many others, as we're going to be going there for the main event. And again, still exactly to be figured out, but we definitely plan to at least do one main show, if not several other things while we're out there for you guys to enjoy. So But zrock, I think we're good at covering here for the group stages. You ready? You're gonna be just watching. What are your plans? How do you plan to go about watching the group stages here?
More than likely laying in bed for most of it, staring at my TV with a laptop.
The
on the
lazy
side,
approach.
Track of
Love
fantasy.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, I got the fantasy Excel sheet on one screen. Yeah,
Exactly.
It's just gonna be really zoned in on that. Got to win that.
Well, and I'm still trying to find a
$100
job here, so doing that on one monitor on the side.
All right.
We'll get there. There's lots of TI to watch. Job can wait for a week or two.
I agree. All right. Well, definitely want to thank you for tuning in. Thanks to all my guests here. Of course, not only zrock, but we're talking about Growdy, Tsunami, and Grant, all for joining us for the fantasy draft there. Really am excited to see how that plays out there through the group stages. And hopefully by the Sunday, if not going into next week, we'll actually have the results. Again, we don't necessarily have an automatic system set up, so it might take a little bit of time to kind of get all the numbers together to see who actually wins that. But that's going to be a lot of fun. Speaking of that as well, Sunday we are planning to release another podcast show. Like I said, the schedule's kind of messed up throughout these next couple of weeks for, again, good reason. If anything, it's better because there's going to be more content. Obviously, we're doing 2 shows this week. We're at least going to be doing the one main show at the main event next week, on top of a couple other, daily recasts that we're talking about doing. So we're expecting to have some fun. Hopefully you guys are ready for it, and definitely be tuning into my Twitter. If anything, I'll kind of keep you guys updated at BreakyCPK, of course, with what we're going to be doing overall. But this Sunday, we plan to release a show talking about the group stages, how they went, and then obviously then previewing the main event itself. So other than that, guys, thanks again for tuning in to the DotPro Show with BreakyCPK. I am BreakyCPK. Have a good night, guys. Enjoy TI7 Group Stages. We'll see you on Sunday.